One of my favorite perfumes for a long time has been 1270 by Frapin. It's this amazing, fruity, tart, boozy, cognac, ambery kind of a fragrance. And I can't believe it. In this year, 2022, we have a flanker of it, if you will. This is 1270 Extreme. I think this might be the best release of 2022 so far. I'm so excited to give you my thoughts on it. Make sure to stay tuned. Now, before I begin my fragrance review of 1270 Extreme by Frapin, and I tell you all about this fragrance, what it smells like, how similar I think it is to the original, without necessarily making this explicitly a comparison video, I do want to start things off by mentioning that if you are a fan of fragrance-related content, please do consider supporting the channel by subscribing to it, hit the bell icon so you can stay notified on all of my future uploads, and of course give this video a thumbs up if you take something of value from today's video. So I personally love 1270 by Frapin. If you know this fragrance, there's pineapple, dried fruits, there's amber, and of course Frapin is a cognac maker, and so you have a little bit of that boozy quality in here, as if the color of the liquid didn't give it away that it was going to be a dark, boozy, rich, resinous, slightly sweet fragrance with some tonka bean in the base. Well, I know one of the things that was often said about it is, as amazing as it smells, some people wished it would last a little bit longer. And so I feel like in many ways the brand did cater to Western sentiments in the fact that it wasn't this overly heavy, loud, Middle Eastern inspired 12+ hour fragrance. Well, if longevity is what you're after, I think you're really going to be impressed by 1270 Extreme. I'm so excited to give you my comprehensive thoughts on the smell. Let's start things off with the presentation. So if you're familiar with the way that the original 1270 smells, chances are as soon as you smell 1270 Extreme, it's going to jog those same exact memories for you. And let me just start things off by casually mentioning that this fragrance reminds me so much of Hurricane Sandy. And the reason I say that is because when it happened many years ago, I was working at a hardware store, and I remember having to go into work because we sold generators and flashlights and D batteries and duct tape and all of the other reinforcements that, people were looking for during that time period. And I wore this fragrance every single day. I'd get on my bicycle and I'd ride to work, and whenever I smell it, it reminds me not necessarily of the devastating effects of Hurricane Sandy, but it reminds me of being at home with my wife, and we didn't have electricity, so we had to eat by candlelight, and we played board games and just enjoyed each other's company in a very unplugged manner, so to speak. And so it's definitely evocative of those warm, amicable memories. And as soon as I smelled 1270 Extreme, it jogged the same exact memories within me, which leads me to say that in terms of the olfactive properties, they are so similar. In terms of the extreme vibe, you do have this, what I perceive to be an added warmth in the base. So not only do you have the tonka bean and the vanilla, but you also have a little bit of patchouli to kind of bolster up all of the other ingredients and make them last a little bit longer, make them a little bit more pronounced, if you will, but you still have this beautiful pineapple note in the opening. And as a matter of fact, all of the notes are listed on the side of the bottle in French nevertheless, but you do have elemi resin, you have bergamot, you have pineapple, you have jasmine, rose, cedar wood, guaiac wood. So you have a combination of many different ingredients, amber wood in the base as well. So as you can sense, it is on the sweeter side of things. And, I would say it's about 90% similar to the original, which is personally what I love. When you release a flanker or an iteration of an existing fragrance, you don't want it to go in a completely different direction, but you want a subtle offshoot of the DNA of the original. And I think that that's precisely what you're going to get here. So it opens up really tart and flavorful in the opening with that pineapple note, but it's a very warm, resinous, balsamic, and sweet kind of a pineapple note on account of those ambery qualities, but you get a really nice balance of the tonka bean and the vanilla. Sometimes when the tonka bean is a little bit too strong, it can leave the fragrance smelling a little bit powdery. When the vanilla is too strong, it can leave it smelling overly saccharine or dessert-like. Neither one of those two things is happening in this fragrance, which is a great thing. So you're going to get a fragrance that has a nice even balance of sweetness in the base, but there's enough of that jasmine rose in the heart to break apart the sweetness a little bit and not make it this full-blown gourmand fragrance, because there's so much more to it, right? The guaiac wood, the cedar wood, the floral components, the other fruity components in the opening, maybe a bit of like an apple vibe to it as well. So I personally love this fragrance so much, and the same thing can be said about the original. That's why I went out of my way many years ago to purchase the original, knowing that it was a smell that really resonated with me, and it's a smell that kind of represented who I am and, you know, the kind of vibe that I wish to give off with my olfactive wardrobe. So 1270 Extreme, slightly warmer, slightly sweeter, definitely very bright, vivid, and tart in the opening with that pineapple and bergamot combination. And of course, with the amber and the fruits and everything, it does kind of give it this boozy cognac kind of a vibe. It's a beautiful fragrance, and in my opinion, it's in the top 3 of the best releases so far for the year of 2022. I am so happy with this release, and I love Frapin. I love If, Passion Boisée, Speakeasy, L'Humaniste. There are so many beautiful fragrances from this house, and I own about a dozen of them. But let me tell you, 1270 Extreme is definitely at the top of my list. So happy to have this one, especially given the fact that it's still rather cold outside where I live. So let's go ahead and finish things off with my overall assessment. So first, in terms of the uniqueness in the overall smell, it's not unique given the fact that it is a flanker. So you are going to pick up on a lot of the similar elements from the original 1270. And this is a bottle that I've had in my collection for many years. And so they're kind of that even strength now because the original has been left to macerate for such a long time, but you get the powerful quality of the extreme version from initial spray. You don't need to let it sit. It's a really well-performing fragrance with a boozy, warm, inviting aroma that I think is going to appeal to pretty much everyone around you. There's nothing about this scent that is challenging or pushing any envelopes or anything like that. Longevity on it, you're gonna get 8+ hours. Now, I think with the original, people were getting in the vein of 4 hours, 5 hours, maybe 6 on a good day. With the extreme version, you can expect at least 8 hours on your skin, which is a significant improvement when you think about it. Projection was amazing for the first hour of application. I really felt like I was able to smell it on my person. It didn't start to sit closer to the skin until about that 4.5 to 5 hour mark. At that point, it was radiating within an elbow's length, and right around that 7 hour mark is when it started to sit pretty close to the skin, thus forming a sort of narrow, intimate bubble. In terms of the versatility, you can wear this one all year round because it is the extreme version. You can wear this in the colder weather, but it's still not overwhelming in terms of its olfactive profile. So you can wear it in the hotter weather as well. I think this one can be worn formally because it is such a unique smell, but I personally love to wear it casually because it just always puts me in a good mood. It makes me feel good. It elevates my spirits. Perfectly unisex. I think the sweetness will appeal to somebody who's a little bit younger, but I think the boozy quality will appeal to somebody who's a little bit older as well. So I think this is certainly 100% versatile in all regards. In terms of the presentation, I do enjoy the presentation, and I really like this insignia that's on the back of the bottle here. It just gives it a very sort of posh and luxurious feel. My final verdict on this fragrance, like I said before, one of the best releases so far for 2022, if not the best release. I am so happy to have this one in my collection. Amazingly well done, and it has everything that I love about the original with some added oomph and slightly improved performance, which I think is going to please a lot of people, and it's so easy to recommend it. So if you like fruity, boozy, and ambery fragrances, smell no further than 1270 Extreme by Frapin. There you have it, ladies and gents. Thank you so much for joining me today. I'm going to leave links down below to where you can check it out online. Not affiliate links, but I'm just going to put e-commerce links down below for your convenience. If you enjoyed this video, please do consider supporting the channel by subscribing to it. Hit the bell icon so you can be notified on future uploads. Give this video a thumbs up. It would greatly assist with the YouTube algorithm and people discovering my channel. So thank you. Thanks again for watching. Love you all. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye.